Hello, beautiful beings. I hope you guys are doing well. I wanted to jump on here. We've just posted today the Libra eclipse video, energy update video, and this always happens where I post it and then there's so much more that comes up. And today was one of those days where I could either do a live with you guys on TikTok, which is usually where I've been showing up. So if you're on TikTok, definitely follow me there, or I can come on here. And what was feeling right was to share it here with you guys, a part two of an energy update. And the reason why I want to come and talk about this is because there's so many things that kind of like I want to say the ripple effect of downloads that have been coming up. So if you are a Libra, let me know in the chat. If you're watching this live, let me know. And for those of you who maybe are going through an experience right now, welcome, because this is where you need to be. This is huge. I first want to share that if you haven't watched the original video, you can go watch it either after or before this, whatever feels good for you. I'm not going to say you have to watch the other one before, but it will help you with a lot of things. Just reading your comments, and those who are watching the replay, let me know how are you feeling. Just finished part one and it was resonating so deeply. Amazing. I'm a Libra. Awesome. Let me know in the chat where you're tuning in from. And yeah, I just want to just share some really deep things that I received while rewatching it that I think will be really helpful for you to integrate. So the intention for this live is for you to integrate the process of what you received. It is for us to share some deep, potent conversation, and it's for you to ask questions and to really tune in. So again, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, like. It does help a lot with the channel. For some reason, I've had a few people saying that they haven't gotten their email list emails and didn't know when there was a breath work, or don't know that I'm live here or when I'm posting. So it does help a lot when you you know what's going on, because then there's some of you like, oh my god, where's the update, where's the meditation, Shika? I posted it. But YouTube is tricky, or any platform is a tricky navigation to go through, because a lot of the stuff I share are truth, right? And in a world where truth is hidden so much, it can be difficult for us collective conscious beings to receive it. So I'm live on TikTok, I'm live on YouTube, and we're chatting here, we're conversing. So the first thing I want to talk about is cord cutting, because that was something that I talked about in the first video, and understanding cord cutting, understanding what that means. Because I feel like so many people online are like, cord cut, how to cord cut, how to. And the thing that someone didn't tell me before that I needed to know, and is going to be very potent for you for this lunar Libra eclipse that's happening on the 25th, 2024, and how it will affect you 3 days before to a week, 3 days to a week after, is that you can't just cord cut anything, any cord. This is one thing to know. Okay, so what a lot of people do, not knowing information about cord cutting, is they go in and they pull a cord, and that soul, that spirit, your version of your being didn't actually want that cord. It wanted to be understood, right? Or it wanted some hygiene. So I'm going to go over a little bit more. I'm going to have actually a guided healing meditation. I say healing in highlight because it is a healing. It's not just a meditation. And I'm going to be posting it for you guys. I'm thinking of recording it actually today for cord cutting. There's going to be a portion of it that's going to be cord cutting. So there are 3 levels of cord cutting. Let's just bring it to the basics of understanding what is cord cutting, right? And heat bands, one of the biggest things I will share for cord cutting is, one, there are 3 levels. So there's the cord that everyone knows. It's the cord, the version of you that doesn't want this energy. And what cord cutting is, it's a cord that we are connected to everything. Okay. I just want to share this with you guys. You are connected to all things of the universe and beyond. Okay. No matter where you are in your journey, you are connected to everything and all things, right? What does that mean? That means that when we look at our extension of cords, we are all, what is the highest level of our chakras tell us? We are all one, right? We are all divinity. We are all consciousness. We are all this in this essence of being, right? So where cord cutting can be supportive is to rebalance energies, right? Or even just cord cleaning. Okay. I'm going to say cord cutting and cord cleaning because those 2 things are important to know. Okay. So this cord energy, your spirit, your soul is like, I don't want this cord anymore. I don't want this energy in my body, right? It's a full body. Like, it is not consensual, because I want to say that everything with law of attraction, law of assumption, all the laws, that you as a spirit has the freedom to have that energy connected to you or not. I want to make this really clear. Everything in your life is your choice. Everything in your life is your choice. What you choose to believe, what you choose to receive, what you choose to whatever, okay? So what this is understanding is when we have a cord, say on the chest or the solar plexus or the sacral chakra or in our back, okay? We need to track that cord. So as you're breathing in and you're meditating with the meditation, right? You're tracking to see where that cord is connected to. Is it connected to a parent? Is it connected to a past relationship? Is it connected to an old boss? Is it connected to what exactly is it connected to? Okay. T, I just saw your message. I'm going to answer in a bit, love. So what that means is when you can see that connection, you then want to connect with what is the energy? What is the memory of this cord? Now, I know not everyone brought the gift or wants to connect with the gift of seeing things. And I make that really clear. That's why I shifted my meditations to not just assuming that you can see someone walking down the hallway that I'm bringing you into the path. That's why I always say feeling, sensing. What is your intuition telling you? It might be you're hearing things. It might be you're sensing, you're knowing, right? And this is the most important part. You need to trust what your spirit is telling you. And in order for you to trust and to cord cut or to work with cord cleaning, you need to surrender. So if you notice that a part of you, your human's getting in the way, and it's like, I'm not surrendering to the rebalancing of my spirit during this Libra lunar eclipse, then you have to look at that first before you go into the cords. Thanks, Ia. Before we go into the cords, right? Why can't you surrender to this energy? Why can't you surrender to understanding it and connecting with it? When you can look at that, then you're like, okay, things are opening up. Things are clear. Your gifts don't feel like they're constrained. They're not controlled. They can channel through your being as you are a channeling being. I want to make this clear. You are a channeling essence and being, okay? So when you do that, what happens next? Okay? The next thing that happens is that you tap into you tap into seeing this connection and you connect with your spirit. You're not getting your human involved. This is very important, right? Because for you to understand cord cutting is beyond the human level. So for us to really connect with this, we have to ask our spirit, hey spirit, what do you feel about this cord? Right? Spirit's going to just channel through you and say, we don't want this person's energy here. We don't want the energy towards this thought, person, programming, whatever it is. It might not even be a person. It might be a programming. It might be a thought. It might be an ancestral trauma, karma, right? You don't know what it is, and you're not meant to know when you go in, right? The way you go in and the way, even for myself, when I support people, there would be no way for me to go in and help other people if I was focusing on it's about me, right? So I just want to share this with you guys. And I just felt someone's solar plexus go like, ooh. So whoever that was, take a deep breath into your upper belly. For anyone in the replay too. So let's go into that, loving that part of you. Okay, we love that part. We're allowing that part. We're going into that part. So for this lunar Libra eclipse, you're seeing it. If your soul says, we don't want this, you need to now connect and say, okay, we don't want this. So we then cord cut. Now there's the second level of cord cutting and cord clearing. I like to call working with cords, okay? Because cord cutting isn't always cord cutting, okay? I just want to clarify that. And that is cord hygiene. A perfect example is family members like parents, right? So what that looks like is someone that you're connected to and their cord, right? The cord that is they're connected to is a mother, right? And this cord is related to boundaries with the mother. We see this a lot with mother wounds. We see this a lot with a lot of people, like the mother wound that comes in, right? When that excuse me, when that mother wound comes in, I have to sip my tea. When that mother wound comes in, we're understanding, okay, it's not that I don't want to talk to my mother. It's not that I don't want her to connect with me, but she has to understand that my boundary is X and Y, right? So if your boundary is X and Y and that's not communicated, what part of you, maybe the cord is teaching you how much, because Libra is all about balance, you're putting so much energy towards your mother, right? Gabriella just said mother wounds is a big thing for her, Chiron. I feel that. So one of the biggest things is we connect with the mother. We say, okay, so what you do, instead of pulling the cord, think of a rope with oil, like motor oil on it, right? You still want to use the rope. You still want to connect to that rope, right? But what you want to do is you want to clean it. So you get some water and you start to cleanse. You get some soap, you wash it off. And that's called hygiene of the cord, right? This Libra lunar eclipse, 3 days before the day of and 3 days after, is asking you to hygienically cleanse cords. So then you're not taking on, you can create more space inwards and start to create what you need to create. Bridget just said, this is hitting hard. Amazing. So when you can do that, it doesn't mean that I don't want to connect with so-and-so because of this. It just means that I am people pleasing and letting them talk. And I'm still working as a being as I am to speak my truth, to speak my boundaries, to speak what I need to speak into existence, right? And it can be hard. I hope you guys can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. It can be hard to do that when when our being thinks that we need to give that person so much energy, right? So this is the second level, okay? The third level is neither one or two. You don't need a cord cut. You don't need to hygiene, nothing. The cord is vibrating in your being during this lunar eclipse, 3 days to a week before, 3 days to a week after, because it has a lesson. Now, every 3 levels of this cord connection, understanding cord energies, tells you that this cord is to teach you something. So what do you do with that? You hold the cord and you connect with it. You say, what are you teaching me, soul? Spirit, what are you teaching me? You connect with that person's spirit, your spirit, and you're like, woo, I connect you. Thanks, Ash. I understand, right? I get it. This is what you came here to teach me. This is where you came here for me to understand so I can step into the frequency that my spirit told me to do it. So for this moment right now, because remember, eclipse is vastly up-leveling your journey as a spirit. That's the essential meaning of eclipse. It is cleansing, it is rebalancing, it is awakening, it is changing you to impactfully tap you into the essence that you are meant to do, the person you are meant to step into, right? But we have to understand that we have to understand a core. It's like almost like if a child were to tell you a story and you just to assume what the child's story is. Oh yeah, and then this happened, this happened. Has this ever happened to you where you're sharing something to someone and they're already speaking? Their throat chakra, number 1, is imbalanced. That's why they're interrupting you. And 2, maybe for you, that's because opposites attract, yours is lowered, right? So someone who's tends to talk, likes to be the attention, has an overactive chakra, throat chakra, and someone who doesn't has a less active. So then, woo, we make a perfect match. We make a perfect match. So how you rebalance for both parties involved is by understanding this cord. For you, maybe you're on the end that you need to speak up, and that's what your cord is teaching you, right? And for other people, maybe for the other person, when you do that, you're giving them a choice to listen, to understand that they don't need to overspeak. And that's coming from being in a household where they weren't heard, so they talk a lot, or they talk over people because it was a very loud household. Maybe for the other person, it's the same thing, but instead, their spirit, because everyone's spirit and soul is different, they shut down their voice, right? But these two attracted each other because they both feel the same. They feel unheard. So they become best friends. They become a relationship. They become partners. That is what Libra is teaching us. It's teaching us through the law of attraction what these cords are here to teach us. Is it to cord cut? Is it to cleanse our energy? Or is it to understand it, which is for all of them? So before you go and cord cut, or before you Google or YouTube cord cutting, please understand it, because you are not allowing your soul to guide you, right? You are assuming, your humans assuming what it is. And maybe I'm triggering you. I just shared this with someone just a while ago through an email. Trigger is an opening. Let's shift that. Triggering isn't something you have to be scared of. It's an opening for you. It's a reclamation for you. It is stepping into your sovereignty. That is what triggers do. They allow us to hold, and instead of being in that freeze state, which sometimes our trauma response is that way, we say, wait a minute, you're trying to tell me something. Let me listen to you. And then things open up. Then you understand, and it's a ripple of a ripple. And this brings me to the second thing you need to know about this Libra lunar eclipse. That is a great lesson for all spirits and all souls. 3 days before the day of, 3 weeks, 3 days before, the week before, to 3 days before, the week before. So I used to say 3 days before, but because the energies are so potent, it's up to a week. So this brings me to the second thing. It's already happening. Libra lunar eclipse is teaching you that to release the energies that you need to release is so easy. It doesn't have to be hard. So for those of you who might have gone through the experience of understanding that it's not about how hard you work, it's not about how much you do, it's understanding that you can be in a balance of energies. And when you step into who you are as a being and you accept that initiation, which all of you have done already, the collective has done, we step into the energy of surrender and acceptance. And when we do that, then the biggest part, we need to keep that frequency to trust. So accepting that it can be very easy and it's already happening. Your dreams, your aspects, your manifestations, the money you're calling in, everything I covered in that first video, it's already happening. You don't have to do much. I'll give you a perfect example for you guys, okay? And I want to share this because I just posted about this on the community. 2 spots opened up for the Goddess Retreat next week, right? What is it calling me to surrender? But what is it also calling for the person who's accepting the spot to surrender into stepping into being a goddess and being the abundant being they want to be and going on a plane, going halfway across the world to Portugal and stepping into a healing process with the elements and with the plants. The moment you accept that, the tests come. And the tests are testing you to stay in the frequency to help you stay in the frequency of surrender. So isn't it a blessing? It's a blessing because those tests are offering you a choice to stay in surrender. Are you going to go back to worry? Are you going to understand that we got you? It's happening. Everything is happening for you. So I want to share this with you because a lot of us think it has to be hard work in the trenches. Don't get me wrong, sometimes it is. But remember, when was the last time you had a hard time? And I want you to ask yourself, were you surrendering in that time? Probably not, because you were feeling derooted, because new roots were starting to create itself. It's like when a tree, spring comes, which is with the eclipse, it's spring season. So we're with nature. Let me explain this a little bit deeper. With this lunar Libra eclipse, you are growing new roots. And the old roots from last year that no longer serve you are being cut. And these roots, you've been dependent on the way safety and security was and your ideology of what that is. And when they start to go rooting deep into the earth, you get scared because you're like, but this root is so strong and deep. And like, what am I going to do if I don't have this root? You become attached to the roots of your tree, instead of growing new roots that are going to be bigger, stronger, and support you for what you're calling in. So I want you to think of yourself as a tree during this Libra lunar eclipse. Your roots are deep, but they're about to go deeper. And you've never gone to this depth of manifesting, abundance, and holding. But guess what? The door has knocked on your door and you're able to do that. So my question to you, are you willing to receive the test that Spirit is sending to you to help you surrender? Are you willing to understand that it's already happening and actually it can be really easy? And what part of my programming thinks that receiving my manifestation has to be super hard and a struggle and scarce and hard, just like my ancestors? You were their prayer to expand beyond that. Can we shift it to, it stops with me, with my ancestors, to it continues with me? It continues in a deeper essence. It continues in the way, and they're behind you clapping. They are so excited. They are holding you so deeply, whether you see them or not. Don't let your human get attached thinking because you don't see them, because you haven't attached your gifts to the fullest of your ability, that they're not with you. They are so with you, and it's a crowded room. It's a crowded room of benevolent beings, ancestors, guides, archangels. You know it. All of them are around you. But how much of you is still complaining you're not showing up for me? It's happening. Okay, I want to just share this deeply with you guys. And this is potent. I want to take a little question break because I know there's a lot of questions. If you guys want to ask questions, and I'm going to give you the last 2 things that I want to share with you because these are important questions. Is smudging allowed for anyone? I was told I shouldn't, depending on my ancestry. I just want to make sure it's being respectful. I will say this, T. Smudging is important to do every single day. Number one. Two, if you don't know how to smudge, ask someone to teach you. Ask an elder, ask someone who's been trained. There's a lot of people who are smudging and they're not smudging right. They're not smudging properly. They don't understand it. They're seeing it on YouTube. They're seeing it on TikTok. They're seeing it online. And they're like, this is smudging because you got to clear energy. And they're not doing it properly. Understand smudging. This is what I'm going over in Divine Dharma. I'm teaching people how to properly smudge. Because when I teach people, I taught my Earth Dharma students last year, and they're like, I've been smudging for all this time and I wasn't smudging properly, right? There is a technique to smudging, right? Cleansing and clearing the chakras. You can't just do it like this and like, okay, you're done. You're moving energy, you're clearing. You should feel something lifting off. If you don't, then you need to connect with it and smudge, right? So don't just do a technique just because you're seeing it on TikTok. Please be respectful to the elders, be respectful to the techniques of the ancestors. And if you don't, ask for help, which is a perfect little segue to the next step, which I'll go into after this questions. Okay. Will the hygienic cord cleansing also work with habits? 100%. Say you have a cord and it's connected to food. It's connected to TV. Yes, 100%. It's not just, we have to understand everything is energy, y'all. It's not only people, right? You might go to a cord this Libra or accords this Libra lunar eclipse, that are not people, but rather it's all around your habits. It's all about your mentality, your third eye, your crown chakra. What's holding there? Let's cleanse it a little bit to get your gifts, opening more, to receive your gifts more. So it's not only about that. I just want to keep that and make that clear. Any other questions you guys have, please let me know in the chat. What if you're feeling your mother's energy is watching you? Can you cut the cord permanently? Yes, you can. So I want to make this straight. Not every ancestor and energy wants our well-being. They're hurt. They're wounded. They only see one thing. They want to see one perspective. This is something that changed a lot for me. This is why one of the biggest things I share with people, when you're opening space for support, when you're calling in your guides, always say benevolent ancestors and guides. Why? Because there are still some that still have some human attachments to their experiences. That's going to make it really hard for them to support you. And we send them love and we say, no, you're not welcome here. Right? So you can connect. It's, remember, choice. You have the power. I think you guys are so powerful. I want you to understand that. This is one of the biggest things I want you to feel when you watch a video here, is your power in yourself and how much you can heal yourself. So when you see a connection, I'm going to give the example that Davina said about your mom watching you, right? So there's this jealousy energy. There's this, and I'm sharing this because I know Davina, she's been to my retreats. She's been to my one-on-ones. So jealousy, and there's this feeling of pain and like not understanding and anger. Like, why didn't she raise herself to be this way and this direct? And she needs to be a good religious being, this way is the way that she needs to live as a woman, right? All of that's coming in her mind. So what she does is she looks at that, but we look at the wound, because one of my biggest things, one of my teachers says, instead of looking at people and judging them, look at them at their inner child. That's going to give you an idea why they are where they are as an adult. When I see people, I see kids. I don't see adults, I see children. So when I meet you, if you come to my retreat, if you come for my one-on-ones, if you're here and we're connecting our breath works, I see you all as kids. I see you as your purest being. I see the pain and stuff, but that's your adult stuff. This is attachment. This is energy, but that doesn't make you any more pure, less pure, any less loved. You are purest essence. You're just understanding in this lifetime through the teaching school of Earth of how you are so pure and how awesome you are and powerful you are. So when we go back to that example, why is she watching you? What part of her feels like she needs to watch you? There is jealousy. There's that. What is she jealous and envious about? Because she's seeing her daughter do things she couldn't do. And she's not in a space of accepting that yet. She still sees you as an ideology of part of her, that you are her. And then anything that you successfully do, and I see this a lot with mother wounds, this is something you're interested in, the goddess retreat. There's 2 spots, like I said. If any of this is resonating, and for those of you that are maybe in a space where you're moving through financial blocks, message me, email me. I'm offering, to me, it's so important. I'm even offering for those 2 souls to have a partial sponsorship. Okay. So you'll get to go to this retreat and have access to it. So email me ASAP. It's on the 20th to the 27th of this month in Portugal. So going back to that space, she's watching you for a reason. She wouldn't be using her energy. There's envy there. There's something she doesn't have that you have. And she's not happy you have it. And that's why she's jealous. That's why, but we send love. And when we're in that frequency of love, they can't hate. We send love and we say, no, you cannot watch me. It's the feeling of predatorial. That's the energy I'm feeling. It's not even like hers. It's an ancestral. And I'm saying this because I know Davida, but sometimes it's ancestral, right? It's someone else from the lineage that is just prying and speaking in their community about how this person's doing this. They're putting all this energy because they want to be free. Every being just wants to be free. But instead, she's upset. She's putting all this energy and she's draining herself equally to you. So when you remove that cord, it's going to give her energy back. It's going to give you your energy back. And anything that doesn't serve both of you, go and transmute it upwards. Okay. And I'll be going over this in the meditation to support you guys. Okay. Let me catch up on questions. How will you know when the cord you're trying to cleanse or cut has made the change you want to see happen if you still are still a beginner at feeling and seeing energetic cords? Number one, stop putting expectation of what it should look like for change. You're blocking it. Two, your spirit. Are you surrendering to your spirit? If you're not surrendering to your spirit, you won't be able to cord cut, cleanse, or understand the cord. So these two things need to be established first before you go into working with the cord. And like I said, the meditation that's posted, if you feel like some cords need a few days, do the meditation for a good week. It's going to help you because then it's going to support you a little bit more of understanding that cord, right? Understand that healing is not a state. It's a process. It's eternal. It's continuous. And there's no ending. There's no end. What do you call it? Like a goal. There's no end to where you need to go, right? It continues to evolve energetically. And sometimes what happens when we cord cut, new energy cords get created to higher frequencies to keep you and to support you in these energies. Could be a new relationship. It could be a new habit. There's a new cord that creates itself to help your light body, your auric body, and your physical body, which a lot of people don't talk about. So that's another thing. There's so much we can talk about cords. Thank you for this. I'm new to all of this, and this is honestly don't know what to start. That's okay. Don't put pressure on yourself. What can I do to truly open myself to spirit? The first thing is understand, can you open yourself to your own spirit? Do you believe that you have your spirit? That's number one, because you can't connect outside of you if you can't connect within you in that, right? This will not make sense. Out here won't make sense if this isn't trusted, surrendered, and believed in. But you gotta believe in it first, right? And spirit is our breath. Spirit is our essence. It's our being. It's eternal, right? And I'm at this point where I am just in my personal journey as a space holder, as a human being, is continuously learning that version, that definition of eternal. Because the more I understand that, the more that my prayers, my devotion, my space holding, my showing up here, my truth gets heightened, and that's what you want, right? You want to be and stepping into a more definitive person that you are, because when you can do that, then you're giving other people the permission to do the same. Okay. Yeah, she's upset that I pulled my energy. Yeah, so you already know. P.S. I'm a gardener and find peace in gardening. That is conscious. You are literally in the hands of the biggest teacher. So that is telling you, when you're saying I'm not connected to spirit, look at your hands. You're touching soil. That is a spirit. So you're already connected. What aren't you seeing? What are you seeking for? That's your question. Okay, so let's go back to tips of what you need to know for the lunar eclipse. If you have questions, write them down, put them in the comments. I will go and do another question, one last round with you guys if things come up, okay? So the next thing that comes up for this Libra lunar eclipse that I want to share is the energy of receiving. So I want to go into understanding what part of you feels like you can't receive something. That's going to be highlighted. I'm going to share something that happened today that brought me to this live. I had a chat with someone. I missed my tea. I had a chat with one of you beautiful beings that reached out and were interested in doing this beautiful goddess retreat next week. And they watched the first video and a lot of triggers came up. And I just shared, wow, what an amazing divine timing and blessing it is for them to have this trigger. You're like, Shika, what are you talking about? It's a trigger. Like we don't want to be triggered. It's not a triggered when you understand that it's an opening and it's a lesson, right? It turns into something you're more open to as opposed to having a negative connotation. This is one of the things I talked about with my abundance teachings with my Earth Dharma students last year in one of our workshops. I'll share a little medicine for you guys. How many times do people at the end of the month start to dread paying their mortgage and their rent? Be truthful. Put a little fire emoji if you dread paying bills, right? Now I'm going to say something that's really potent. It might trigger you, but it might open something for you. It will open something for you. What part of you has created a negative connotation that paying that money and transferring that energy towards your root chakra, which is security of home, food, support, that gratitude that you are literally transferring that money to something that supports you is now a burden. So that means money is a burden, right? You've created now an energetic coding that paying things and investing in self is a burden. So when people tell me all the time, they say, Shika, like, this is coming up and whatnot. I was like, talk about it, talk it out, because there's a part of you that's coded, programmed that putting money to X is a burden. Putting money to this is whatever, right? Whatever the emotion is that you feel, big explosion, right? So what I had to shift for me to really receive more money, I have an abundance video coming out, is for me to understand that it's not a burden, but what created the belief it was? What created the belief it was because I heard at a very young age my parents talking about bills and paying for bills and how stressed they looked. So I started to think that money is stress and money is the responsibility, which responsibility is bad and power of money is bad. So I don't want that. So I started to code with spirit saying, I don't want the money. So give me the scarce. Give me nothing. Make me run around for the money. And when I started to do that, I always found myself constantly having this cloud over my head that was blocking my sacral, that was blocking my being of getting out of my situation because I was coding myself to stay in that stagnant energy. You have to understand, and I talk about this, money doesn't like to be caught. I talk about it in the first part of this energy update for the Libra Lunar Eclipse. I talk about the aspect that money doesn't like to be caged. How would you feel if you were caged up? Think about zoos. What happens in a zoo? You see a zoo, animals are caged up, right? Is that where they're supposed to be? No. But us humans, we want to see you. We want to show you to our kids. We want to do all this stuff. Okay, well, why don't you just come to our house in nature and meet us? Maybe that's how animals would come to you, right? Now I've gotten to a point where I'm seeing that they're trusting us more because of how much we've shifted. The other day, I haven't had this since I was 4, 2 deers came to my car and nodded to me and said hello. That wouldn't have happened way before. So you need to understand that if you can't receive and you're already telling yourself in your life right now, what in your money coding is making you feel like it's a burden and you're putting a stop sign on receiving more. Because until you're able to see that there are certain beliefs you already have that make it hard for spirit to channel downwards and push through, right? All of those things. And that's why you find yourself here again and again and again, because you've chosen to be here again and again. So no matter how much I support this person who wants to come and do this transformation on this retreat, and I've offered them, I've literally gave you money. I've given you $800, almost $1,000 to come make this journey to the goddess retreat, do your healing, transform into the woman you want, go through plant medicine, go through breath work, go through somatic, have one-on-one with me, all this stuff. But yet you're still rejecting. As much as I keep saying, I love you, I'm ready to support you. Right? But what part of you hasn't prioritized you? What part of you is rejecting the abundance in your life? The trigger you've received is an opportunity to reset that programming. And I talked about like a computer. The computer has a virus. What happens? We go in and we take out what's making it sick. If you're sick right now, what do? You go have some oregano oil. You go have some holy basil. You have these plants that are going to support you, resetting your body. What happens? You shift completely. And then you're energized, you have more energy, you're more uplifted. That energy is law of attraction. You start to receive those heightened frequency of more money and better relationships, and you start to question it. Why is this happening? But so what I'm trying to say is, for this Libra lunar eclipse, you have to clear this energy for you to hold it. Your spirit can hold it. Your being can hold these new codes. But until you accept it and live it and take action into it, it is just a thought. It is just an affirmation video. It is just a meditation. It is just an energy update. It's not until you accept it and live it and embody it. And this might be a hard energy part to swallow. And you might be feeling fire. You might be feeling some icky in the stomach. That's okay. Guess what? You're purging. Woohoo. We love that. Okay. So all of this is crucial for you to step into it. No one can help you if you reject every person. That includes spirit, God, universe, whatever you connect with. So I'll give you guys a break to receive as I sit with my tea. What's coming up for you? Let's talk about it. What is coming up for you? What are some questions you have? Be honest, even on the replay, be honest, because that is a healing. And like I said, it doesn't have to be hard. It's already happening. It's already clearing. You just watching this is healing. It's a healing session for you. There's a lot that will be integrative in the next few hours, in the next few days, and in this eclipse season. So what part of you is coming up? Hear it, express it, say it in the comments. This is what's going to be supportive for you. TikTok is going to be replayed on also YouTube. So if you want to rewatch this and get some more medicine, I always say watch it a few times. I love doing this when I receive transmissions, videos from even my teachers, because it hits, I'm a different frequency. That trigger created an opening. So when I go rewatch that same content, that same channel message, there's another opening that will happen somewhere else, because I was blocked in that opening because I wasn't ready to receive it yet, right? And now I'm ready to receive it. More is going to move through. More is going to come through for you. Okay? So let's sip the tea on that one. So I want to talk about that. I'm going to have a video on abundance. It is the things I wish I knew before I did any manifestation abundance stuff, before I even called in money, before I even started going into the whole mental state, right? And when that happens, something shifts. My solar plexus jittering. Welcome to your power. If you're feeling solar plexus, welcome to your power. That's what's stepping in, right? This is all of the version of you that's been giving your power away from these programs that are not yours. A lot of it's not yours. A lot of it's just been picked up. Some of it's yours, right? But the basis of it is not yours as well. A lot of it's been picked up and held in many ways. So I want to make sure that we are stepping into this new frequency. Sorry, one second. I'm got a call. This always happens when I'm on live, TikTok and YouTube. I always get a call or something. It's like pushing it in. Okay. But going through a tower moment recently, it's confirming that it's needed in order to detox and move forward into abundance. I would even say not even detox, in order for you to shift, right? There's this detox mentality in society of like, what's detox? Detox, there's the connotation, it's temporary, right? It's stepping into to detox what you're coming out. It's more of a clearing. When we're looking at energetic, it's clearing and bringing in energy you want, right? Why would you want to reject the energies that made you understand the lessons to help you hold that frequency of abundance, hold that frequency of a better relationship, right? I want to make it really clear. When we're cord cutting, when we're doing shadow work, we're not rejecting these energies when we pull them out, right? We're sending them with love. If you are going into cord cutting or clearing or hygiene or understanding, if you are in the space of, I want to get this energy out and yes, that's amazing. But on a higher level, and the energy that has shifted is you move it and you pull it out and you bring it in. And you may be in that space where you take out the anger, let that out, whatever emotions are coming out, let that out. But at the end of it, when we're moving out of that, we need to let it go. We stay in peace. We feel that peace. And that part is so important after cord clearing. And that teaches us that peace, that unconditional love that connects us to all that is, allows us to step into love for that version of us, right? Thank you for this lesson. Thank you so much. Gratitude. That is the peace, releasing all the emotions that come up, connecting to unconditional love, and then receiving that version of us and saying, thank you for that journey. I don't have to validate you through victimization or anything. I am who I am. And thank you, because I wouldn't be able to be here if it wasn't for you. Thank you for that. Right? So this is really important to know. Thanks, Star Child. I'm going to just catch up on some questions and things you guys are saying on TikTok too. Thank you for this. I'd love to hear and understand more on cord cutting. I will be doing a video, a meditation for you guys. I'm going to finish this video shortly because it's been 40 minutes. But I am going to do a meditation for you guys really soon. And that's going to be for the lunar eclipse. I also have the solar eclipse breath work. It's $33 for early energetic exchange. You guys can enroll in that if you want. It's on April 9th at 5 to 8 p.m. Eastern time. It's all in my link tree, so you guys can check that out. I did my first breathwork class last night and it was incredible, amazing. I constantly get a grip by fear and blocks and paralyzed. Every part of me is scared of abundance. So like go into that. Go into that anxiety. Go into that. Don't avoid it. You avoid it, it gets louder. Go into it. Understand it by just being with it and holding it. Why does money make me paralyzed and anxious? Right? Where is that coming from? Understand the core that is connected to this. Okay, I'm going to read. I've cut out so many toxic people, including my entire family, from my life, and it's guilt that is killing me. And that's okay. I've been there. I've been at that part where I'm cutting everyone. I went through 1 year where I cut every single relationship in my life. And I'm on the other end. I will say, number one, it gets better. Number two, you're going to reconnect with that family. I know it sounds crazy right now, but you're going to have dinner with them probably at one point. You know, the journey is we see both ends. We see the end of isolating ourselves and them not understanding us. And trust me, we get to a point of deepest forgiveness and in such solitude of love that eventually, you know, through the trenches, through the work, we end up seeing miracles happen. And I want to share this other thing that is really big. I think the word miracles has been put on a pedestal. And one of the biggest things that shifted is everyday's miracles, right? If we start to see the little miracles you have in your life, you are then recoding your abundance codes. Okay. It's not putting that thinking the idea that miracles are far from another. They're not. They happen every single day. Right. So what is the miracle you've had today? My miracle is I'm having tea. I'm having tea. Why? It's lubricating my throat so I can talk. You know, it's hydrating my body, which is majority water. So it's changing my codes. As I'm channeling, I'm coding my tea with these channeled words that I'm sharing. So I also have to embody what I'm sharing. If I don't, be false information, false channeling here, which is not the life that Spirit's letting me live, right? So you need to understand that what are the miracles every single day that you have? If you bring gratitude to those things, more and unbelievable things will continue to ripple as a domino effect. How you step into this Libra lunar eclipse is understanding when energies are rebalanced, it makes more room for things to come through. So again, I just want to really share that. If you guys have any questions, please write them in the chat. Please, 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 it helps. And I'm going to be finally sharing the last part with you guys. Looking at my notes, my journal. Let me check with. Yeah. Okay. Being lost isn't always a bad thing. There is a lot on this world that is talking about clarity. And one of the biggest things I want to share is you find clarity in chaos and you find clarity in not knowing what's next. And when you can surrender to that, you can then understand what cords you need to release, clear, understand. You can then understand why you've been chasing after certain things that you want in your life, which is simply a part of you that is voided and feels like you don't have that within. So you seek it outside of yourself and you create it around you. But no matter how much it's around you, it never seeps into the core of your essence and your spirit. So I just want to make this clear that when this Libra lunar eclipse happens, 3 days before, the week before, 3 days after, and the week after, to take this 2 weeks to really understand, what is it teaching me here about me coming more clarity of who I am. Libra is balancing us where we are seeking on one side for something we don't have, and on another side, we're things that we think we have all the time, and we're constantly in that ego too. So this is an opportunity for you to awaken a bigger version of you, a bigger prayer that's bigger than you. Or, and if you don't connect with prayer, say a bigger intention that is bigger than you. And to understand that there are levels to your spirit that you don't know. So when something confusing happens that you're trying to pinpoint of what exactly it is, don't chase it. Don't lose sleep over it. Let it be. Get the anger out, get the chaos, get the tears out. Let that happen, because that is everything that you're purging that is going to settle your spirit back into neutral space of peace. So again, I want you to really share this and help you with this. And I know that there's so much here, but the biggest, I want to just full layer of like come full circle. Do you have any recordings that teach you how to by sync with the moon? Yes, I do. I have one for moon cycles. I also have one on sacral chakra, which, by the way, if you guys are really, really having a hard time with abundance, go and purchase the Citrine Vortex course. It's a recording I did, a week, potent abundance sacral. We focus on the sacral chakra. It's a sacral chakra course, and it's going to really support you. So if there's anything you want to work on and do, that's a really great self-taught. I recorded as a workshop, made it into a course. For those of you that are having a hard time speaking it into existence, Lapis is amazing. It's a throat chakra course as well. You can go check that out. Okay. Now, going back to what I wanted to share. So number one, cord cutting, knowing the difference between cord cutting, cord hygiene, and understanding cord. Check out the video that I will be posting. It's going to be an energy update, and it also, not energy update, energy healing meditation for you, and healing and meditation. So it's going to be doing both to support you in your journey. Okay. Do this meditation for at least a week. Okay. If you want to do it for 2 weeks for the whole time, because for the heightened souls out here, which we all are, do it. But allow yourself to do that. And if it makes it easier, even share in the comments what's coming up for you. Okay. 2, you got to release what isn't serving you in the space, and know that that doesn't necessarily need to be hard, that it can be very easy, and it's already happening. Your manifestation's already happening. Just keep showing up in the best that you can that day, right? Not in the best of what you're comparing. Comparing isn't going to help you from the yesterday and the day before. What can you do right now to work through those abundance clearings? What can you do to lean into the triggers that are openings for you to be aware of, and to have the power to recode that? And what do you want to recode it with? Don't ask me. What do you want to recode it with? Not me. You're the one with the power in that space. And the second thing as well is understanding receiving. You know, I can give you the world. I can back up a truck with $1 million for you. I can fly you halfway across the world to the best shaman, healer, whatever you want to call and put on his pedestal. That ain't going to work until you start working on understanding to receive, right? And you have to also know your intention. So again, this is one of the biggest things, that no matter what, everyone can help you, give you all the things. But if you don't receive it, genuinely receive it, and part of you is receiving it, but you're like, oh, I still feel guilty. That's not receiving it fully. You said yes, but there is an opening that I want to celebrate, that you are starting to receive, and we want to celebrate that. But continue to push it a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And what part of you doesn't think you can receive that? What part of you gets anxious of receiving that? Right? And then we meet that frequency and it expands. Every time there's a trigger, oop, opening, trigger, oop, opening, trigger, oop, opening, it just keeps expanding. Okay. And the last thing is to understand that you have the deepest power to make what you want happen. that right now we're living in a world where they're trying the old patterns of fear, and you're going to see this all year 2024. This is the theme, fearing around financial news and stuff. That's all a facade, okay? What it's translating to is understanding what is the new ways that you're going to bring abundance in your life for the new earth way. And when I say new earth, I mean the expansion of the consciousness of the collective and beyond. Create that, and you have the ability to create that, right? You have also the ability to trust that and believe in that. So I wanted to share that. I think that's it. I'm just checking in with the guides. That's all that we have to share. They're clapping their hands. They're happy for everything that you've done. Keep doing it. I'm going to be posting a video for you guys, an energy update. I also have the energy update. That's the first part that I posted, okay? Some tools to support you. Number one, the citrine vortex and the lapis vortex, as well as Phoenix, which is inner child healing. So Phoenix is an inner child healing course. Lapis is a throat chakra voice activation course. And then you also have the citrine vortex, which is a sacral chakra. That's where the abundance is all about. So if there's anything that you want to work on for yourself to support you in this eclipse season, these courses are really supportive. You can check them out in my link. The second thing is my one-on-ones. I'm opening it up for the summer. I only have 2 people, right? And I'm being very selective with who is stepping in that. The reason why is because this is a very potent, it's not a light program. It's very potent. I'm putting a lot of shifts into you. You're going to put a lot of energy into yourself. And it's all about working on the metamorphosis of rebirthing into what you want to become, right? And we go over those 2 calls, an hour and a half each, and they're potent portals. So if you're interested in that, you can apply down below. The last thing is there's 2 spots for the Goddess Retreat. I am offering a partial sponsorship, which means that usually the price of the whole retreat, not including your flight and getting there, is $2,888. I'm making it $2,000 for everything. Okay. So if you are interested, 2 spots are available. Be mindful what's coming up for you when you're receiving this and your soul's like, let's do it. Yes, there's going to be triggers. And I want to welcome that because that's what we want. We want openings. And this retreat is womb healing, abundance. We go into Kundalini activation, yoni healing, plant medicine ceremonies, eating dieta food, amazing Portuguese dieta food, being in the mountains of Portugal. So you can email me. That's in the community post on YouTube. You guys can email me through my website, ASAP. It's on the 20th to the 27th. And then Divine Dharma, which is my last retreat that I have posted, has been out on our program because there's a lot of big things happening. And that one is going to be in Canada, and it's for light workers to learn about smudging. There's a question about smudging, question about Reiki. You're going to be Reiki 1, initiated for elemental Reiki. We're going to be having plant medicine, tapping into your purpose, stepping into healing self, learning how to heal self in a very aligned way. What an opportunity. But unfortunately, I'm in South Africa. No problem. It will happen in divine timing. There's many other things and offerings you can check. Lastly is the solar eclipse breathwork, which is happening on April 9th. It's $33. It's a great place for anyone to come and to step into that abundance. And it's a 3.5 hour breath work that we do together. And it's so amazing. I love doing community group breathworks. You can register for that in the link. We're going to be doing a breath work. We're going to be doing a big ritual, opening circle, closing circle, integration. Really excited for that. So that is it. Don't forget to like this, share this with a friend. Please, helps a lot because YouTube, y'all aren't getting my stuff that are subscribed. So make sure you put your notifications. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram. It's Shika_Chica. I do not message you for any readings and stuff. I feel like that's been gone lately since I've been clearing that really quickly. So I love you so much. Happy lunar eclipse. Thank you for being here, being you. And I will see you guys soon. Bye.